Sexual crime is one of the most terrible things happening in our life. According to Taiwan National Police Agency, Ministry of the Interior, forcible rape case known to the police number is 201. However, there are still many sexual crime hidden in other crime cases. It's just horrible and it may happen around our life every second. It's very important to prevent this sort of things from our family, friends, even ourselves. Before we know how to prevent from and cope with sexual crime, we have to know the reason why sexual crime happen or what makes sexual offense happen. According to the expert from New Zealand, Tony Ward, there are 4 core elements which make a person become sexual offender in his integrated theory in 2008. The first element is biological factor, such as genetic predisposition and brain development. There are some difference in brain of sexual offenders and they are probably from offenders' gene or innate development. Besides having the differences in sexual offenders' brain, there are some environment problems happening in their early life, such as verbal violence, excessive physical punishment, and sexual abuse, which also make offenders have psychological distress in their emotional and in memory, even their personality. These neuropsychological distress lead to emotional or behavioral regulation problems, offense-supportive cognitions, and deviant arousal, and we call these abnormality clinical symptoms. Once there are too many clinical symptoms, the sexual offending actions will be selected to act out by sexual offenders, and once the sexual offending action happen, they will be maintained and escalated by the positive loop. Although many scholars and government agencies keep investing in research and think about the intervention ways of judicial policy, the situation of sexual violence still happens in today's society, and it also affects us in potential ways. And what made it even more sad was the society still holds prejudice and misunderstanding toward victims of sexual violence. For example, some people improperly blame the victim's appearance from making the crime happen, and some people hold the prejudice that the victim's non-resistant behavior will lead to horrible consequences of sexual crime. Besides the example we just mentioned, there is a lot of prejudice and misunderstanding which make us only see the partial of the fact. Especially, when someone unexpected things happen, our bodies will become freeze, which is normal. But sometimes others would blame the victim not choose to run. What they don't understand is that the serotonin works on the body's muscles, which causes our body freeze. Therefore, we should keep calm and appraise of the threat before planning the next step. For example, running away or fighting back. If you act before identify the source of the threat, you may die. This is a law of nature passed on from generation to generation. Then, what can we do after identifying the source of the threat? Here are some methods that can help you to react. We use one word, escape, include our suggestion. The first letter is E. It stands for equipment. When someone unexpected things happen, we can survey whether there is anything we can use around us. First of all, we can observe our personal belongings, such as mobile phones, and we can use a video alarm app to call the police. In addition, we can survey whether there is anything useful in the surrounding environment. For example, if there are any objects in the environment that can make loud noise when they fall down, you can push the objects down to attract the attention of nearby people, such as ladders and iron frames. If you are in the stairwell of the apartment, you can find a fire alarm and press it to attract the attention of the apartment residents. The second letter is S. It stands for stay in control or sensation. We should know do we have high alcohol tolerance. In case of being drunk, we should take appropriate drink, and we should notice our glass to prevent someone put some strange stuff in. Therefore, we could have a clear mind and be conscious to any dangerous situation. The third letter is C. It means create your own scripts. Imagine you're walking on the street. Suddenly, someone grabs you from your back, try to kidnap you. In that moment, what can you do? Maybe you can scream immediately or you can use some self-defense skills to escape. These are some ways to help you get out of the dangers. In the face of possible threat, we can imagine a situation that may happen. For example, when someone grabs you from your back or rushing toward you, what can you do to prevent yourself from being attacked or to escape? In addition, there is a possible way, beyond expectation. Before offending, offenders usually have some expectations. We can take this advantage of using some unexpected way to disrupt offenders' plan. For example, you could say, can we go to another place? Or you could say, I'm on my period. Try to use these kind of strategies so that you might avoid a tragedy. The fourth letter is A. It stands for alert and evaluation. To make your own script, you can consider what happens in your daily routine. For example, you go toilet or other place alone during rest time, have a part-time job after school, get off work late, or study in a library from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. These conditions are kind of dangerous. The fifth letter is P. It means physical and verbal defense. Offenders don't want others to discover when committing crimes, so they want to finish the crime as soon as possible. Therefore, when you encounter an attack, you should scream loudly and resist vigorously, which increases the difficulty of the offenders committing the crime, and let them realize that this situation is not good for them and may reveal their deeds. As a consequence, they will give up and flee from the scene. The last letter is E. It stands for empower. The first is find community. We can do more together. When we have the power of community, we are empowered by this connection and collaboration with others. Broadening your sense of community also helps with feeling of isolation and helplessness. The second is you're capable of much more than you imagine. You may be nervous about whether you can handle the difficult task. Just do it. Sometimes you discover that you could do it all alone. The third is believing you're good enough. It's easy to think you're not good enough to handle the difficult situations. Please tell yourself that you have done a great job. Don't be scared. Please believe in yourself. The fourth is ground and take care of yourself. Give yourself an opportunity to experience your time to feel negative emotions. Amidst this, please give yourself a safe and comfortable environment. Practice that helps keep you in touch with the grounded state of being, such as taking a walk in nature, yoga, meditation, breathing exercise. Eating well and sleeping soundly are also important. Remember that you can pour from an empty cup. Depleting ourselves of energy inhibits our ability.